Hi, folks. This is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report. Recently we've had a lot of ice fishing tournaments, and a lot of things have come from that. There's lots of good fish that are being caught. We've got safer ice now. In most cases, with all the cold weather we've had, the ice has got thicker, and it's become easier for people to get out there and hopefully enjoy a day of ice fishing. But I want to talk about families and families fishing together in ice fishing, because that's often the case. You have a hut and you can make some food. And again, we've talked about this a lot, but it's part of the ice fishing culture and heritage. But let's talk about kids, because when you've got brutally cold conditions, it's very important that if you're going to take a kid fishing for the first time, that it isn't spoiled for a lifetime because the kid gets frozen cold and miserable. You want it to be the most enjoyable. So I've been talking to my buddy Jigger Jim, and Jigger Jim, that's his name. His first name's Jim. The Jigger part is just because that's how he likes to fish. But Jigger Jim told me that way back when his son Seth was 5 years old is when he started taking him ice fishing, and he knew it was critical that if he wanted to have a partner in life of fishing, a father and son sort of thing that goes on, and that's the way it was with my dad and me, that it was important that Seth be able to enjoy the experience. So he says his tips for people that want to get kids involved in ice fishing is, number one, make sure that they're warm. Make sure that their boots are dry and able to withstand the cold. Mittens or gloves, but mittens, let's say mittens are one of the most important things, because once your hands get frozen, you're not going to have any fun. You're not going to enjoy it at all. He suggests taking 3 pairs of mittens along, because a mitten can fall off, go into a hole in the water, then it's soaked. Same thing can happen with the holes that you drill. Those holes, a child could step in one because they're out there flitting about, and they're not like us. They're not as staid. They're always active, and they can put their foot in a hole and their foot gets soaked. That's it. But if you take, and he said he even takes extra socks along. But, I think planning is critical. And if you think of all the ways that it can go wrong, all the ways if you take your child out there and you're fishing and it can go wrong, so you plan for that. You make sure that you have lots of food and snacks so that they can stay fed and warm clothing. The mittens are absolutely critical. And then, of course, teaching your child when you go out ice fishing all the safety parts. Don't take it for granted. They're just following you. They're going out with you. They want to be with dad and mom and enjoy the day. But they need to learn that, like anything else, the most important factor is you've got to be safe. You've got to teach them about how thick the ice has to be before it's safe, how they got to be careful and know that there could be currents. And if you look out and you see a difference, don't go out that way because that could be water just under the ice or something. And, all the different things that we might take for granted. But it's important that if a child is going to start and become an ice fisherman as they grow older, it's important that they start the right way. It's no different than when I was a kid and my dad was teaching me about hunting. He drilled so much safety into me, the way I walked, where I carried my gun as I walked. What do we do if we come to a fence? Where do you point the gun? You never shoot in the direction of somebody else that might be right. All the little things that became so ingrained in me that it stuck with me a lifetime. And it's the same thing with ice fishing. So I think ice fishing is wonderful. And I think it's a way that families and kids can get involved in the winter that maybe they couldn't even get involved in the summertime because of other activities going on. So let's take advantage of this wonderful thing that we have. But as we do it, let's always be thinking of how we can make it safe and the most fun for the people that we're taking along with us. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meissner with the North Country Fishing Report.